What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news for you concerning Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder. Wilder states that Joshua refused to FaceTime, and it's also good to see them begging. Okay, he said, of course we know, a few days ago Anthony Joshua explained to the media that he wants to sit down with his heavyweight rival, Deontay Wilder, to work out some kind of issue and finalize a deal for unification. Okay, well, Wilder doesn't believe them because according to Wilder, he made an attempt to have a private conversation with Joshua on FaceTime, and he claims the British star had refused to have a conversation without a third party involved. Wow. Okay, he says, I've tried to do it privately with some mutual friends. Joshua did not want to do it without someone there with him on FaceTime conversation. Why would you want to do that? It's me and you. Are you scared of me or something? This whole thing of we've got to sit down, they're just saying something, man, because at the end of the day, I do not have a boss. Joshua has a boss, and that's Hearn of Matchroom Boxing. Okay, first off, if Anthony Joshua said he wanted to sit down, and a few hours later, Deontay Wilder announced that he's going to be fighting Ortiz, that might have had something to do with it, because you can look at this both ways. Depends on what side of the street you're on, because Wilder could have saw it and said, okay, fuck it, all right. They're obviously, for him to refuse a FaceTime, they had to have some type of conversation, okay, about having FaceTime. You know what I'm saying? Because he had to know that Anthony Joshua did not want to have any type of conversation or not even conversation or FaceTime face-to-face with him without someone else being present there, right? So that should tell you, my question is, what type of conversation took place before that happening? Because if it wasn't FaceTime, if it wasn't over the phone, it had to be text message, right? It had to be something in writing, right? I want to know that. See, here's the problem with all this bullshit with Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. You have too much back and forth over who said, he said, she said, right? And nothing is never tangible, if you know what I mean. See, both sides can sit here and argue about, oh, whose fault it was for this fight not being made. You got Deontay Wilder over there sounding like who? I'm my own boss. I'm on a different level. He said that. Deontay Wilder said, I'm my own boss and I'm on another level. Who does he sound like? Floyd, Money, Mayweather, right? But it was, of course, Floyd trying to make that deal with Deontay, with Manny Pacquiao, okay? Not the other way around. It wasn't the fact that Floyd was the guy that was, hey, let me offer you $40 million. And Manny Pacquiao said 50-50 and hung the phone up. So they had a conversation. But in this case, Deontay Wilder did respond. So he made it known that he did respond, and he said that Anthony Joshua refused to have a FaceTime with him. My question is, why? Because Deontay Wilder has full legitimacy in what he's saying. If Anthony Joshua texted him and told him, no, man, I don't want to have no one else there. I mean, I don't want to be there without my representative there. But then sit here and tell the media that, hey, I want to sit down with both people, which is me and him, and, you know, and iron out the differences or whatever, you know. So that's one of those things where you're like, okay, now it's time for Deontay Wilder to be keen enough or smart enough to shut this shit down. If you have proof that Anthony Joshua, no, I'm not talking to you without representation, because we already heard what Joshua said out of his own mouth. Now you got him saying, hey, no, I can't talk to you without a representative. Well, that contradicts what he said in public, right? My thing about it with Deontay Wilder, if he doesn't come with evidence shutting this shit down, right? If he doesn't have any evidence shutting this shit down to prove his theory, it's just his word against the other guys. And this shit never stops. Now, if Deontay Wilder had that and put it on his Twitter or Instagram and said, hey, look, your champion is a coward because he doesn't even want to sit down with me after telling everyone he wanted to sit down with me. And I have proof right here. Boom. You know what I mean? That's what you have. That's what I don't like. You have someone saying just enough to say, hey, I'm not convinced that these guys want to fight. So it's all smoke and mirrors. Like, at that point, I was convinced. Well, how was you convinced when you had a sit down with John Skipper? You still can't deny motherfucker offered you $100 million. Now, see, this is funny because in 2018, when anyone said anything about Anthony Joshua that was on that side of the street, if you're a Wilder fan, Wildette, Wilderling, whatever you want to call yourself, if you were pro-Wilder, you were in that situation where Joshua turned down $50 million, right? It didn't even matter if this shit was legit. It didn't even matter how it was done. It mattered on, hey, he turned down $50 million. Okay, now the shoe is on the other foot. Now Deontay Wilder's saying, hey, yeah, I reached out to him, and, oh, damn, somebody's car is overheating. That sucks. They got a traffic jam. But anyway, but yeah, you know, I don't care what you say. Yeah, I turned down $100 million. But now I want to sit down with Anthony Joshua after I've already decided that I'm taking Luis Ortiz for my next opponent. You know? Because look, if you're a pro-Joshua fan, you can say, well, motherfucker, you already, right after you heard that, or supposedly, or right after that was announced, you made an announcement that said you're going to fight Luis Ortiz. Right? So, that's the problem. It's not enough tangible evidence to support anyone. All we know is from that time, Anthony Joshua wants to sit down, then you announce your next fight. Now you're saying you reached out to Joshua. Okay. Shit. I'm from Missouri. Show me. Show me. I'm from the show me state. Show me where that is. And then you know what? If that's the case, he has a legitimate point. Because if Anthony Joshua can say, hey, I want to sit down with this guy, just me and him, man to man, and then he wants to FaceTime you, that's somewhat like a face-to-face, right? So I get that. And if Anthony Joshua says, no, I don't want to be there without nobody else there, that contradicts what he says. Plain and simple. You know, there's no way around that. All he had to do is, hey, show us where he said he refused. Then you have a point. Then you have a reason not to trust Anthony Joshua, because it would be appearing that they're smoking mirrors at that point. Point blank and period. You know what I'm saying? Because, look, I like the fact that Anthony Joshua is more vocal now. But what I didn't like about him last year, especially as of late, he wasn't as vocal. And that was when Deontay Wilder, you couldn't shut him up. You know, he could not stop talking about Anthony Joshua to save his life, even though he was going to fight a different opponent at the time of Tyson Fury. That showed he didn't take Fury seriously. He wasn't even talking about the motherfucker. You know what I mean? Until he blew up on him, until Tyson started talking about his struggle, and that pissed him all off, and he started talking about to this day, and that went viral, right? But other than that, no. You know, he was talking about Anthony Joshua so much, and then at the same time, Anthony Joshua was fucking quiet. That's what I didn't like. Now, the shoe's on the other foot. You're saying, okay, now Anthony Joshua's doing media conferences, interviews, you know, sit-downs, and Wilder, oh, well, hey, I'm fighting Ortiz. But now we have this new information about how he claimed to want to have a face-off with the guy. So the problem is, I think, with all this technology, and these guys, you know, I don't see people being that detached of what's going on. Just like I didn't believe that Luis Ortiz didn't know that Anthony Joshua didn't have an opponent with Jarrell Miller, or before Jarrell Miller was signed. Oh, we didn't know. We just thought he wasn't serious. That type of shit. You know, with the technology we have today and how news is dispersed, there's no way people don't know about this type of shit. Like, for example, people should know that Deontay Wilder had posted that comment about reaching out to Anthony Joshua. People should know that. If you don't know that, if Joshua's team doesn't know that, then he has a problem with his PR team. You know what I mean? Because he has to be held accountable for what to say about that. Because if I'm interviewing Anthony Joshua, those are the questions I'm going to be asking him. What about this FaceTime interview? So I would like to know what Anthony Joshua has to respond about this. And if there's any reason why he can't answer, that's bullshit. And that's my counterpunch. You guys tell me what you think about this video. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.